Greetings. My name is John Gagan. I am the Science and Operations Officer at the National Weather Service in Milwaukee, Sullivan, Wisconsin. This training video will provide an overview of internal forecast information via prob messaging. So we have three programs available to help assess internal forecast confidence in the graphical forecast editor. The first is Find Percentile, the second, Snow Confidence, and the third, Prob DT, which takes a look at run-to-run changes in your probability of winter precipitation forecast output. So the first, Find Percentile, this procedure does not produce any DSS images or graphics. It's strictly internal. It's strictly forecaster assistance. And it helps you find which percentile your forecast, or WPCs, is located. And it can be used for snow, ice, and QPF. Next is Snow Confidence. This procedure, again, does not produce any DSS images or graphics. It uses your storm total snow grid. And then it runs and produces what's called a confidence level in the forecast for snow. It's not a pop. If there's 100% confidence from your snow confidence output and you have zero snow output, then there is 100% confidence of no snow. And here's listed as what we have for low confidence, medium confidence, and high confidence levels. We will show an example of this here shortly. And finally, some background on Prob DT. Again, this does not produce any DSS-related images or graphics. It's all internal. It's all internal situational awareness for you. It defaults to running over your CWA, but you're really encouraged to make edit areas based on where you have higher and lower confidence. So you want to run this over an area where you have higher confidence and then separately run it over where you have lower confidence to see how things change and to see how the output is changing from run to run and how your spread is changing. And really what it comes down to is how is my forecast changing from run to run. So as I said, we're going to do a demonstration of each of these live with GFE. Fortunate, we do have a snow event, albeit pretty light, coming into our area here tomorrow. So we can run an example of each of these tools. So we're going to click on our storm total snow grid, and we'll go to the populate menu, and we're going to look at where our forecast lies with Find Percentile. So we're going to do snow, we'll do WFO for our source, and we'll clear our browser and have it run. We run and dismiss, and we'll find out where our light snow forecast lies in the overall scheme of things with the distribution from our forecast from our PWPF. And so here is a look at what we're looking at. Again, not a whole lot. We're looking at less than an inch for most areas, and maybe just a little over an inch down towards the Illinois border. So let's take a look at our 10th percentile. Really not showing much. So there is a bottom here that there is a low potential. We may have nothing. The 25th percentile does start to show some light precipitation, light snow coming in on that. And then our 50th percentile, not too dissimilar from our going forecast. And then our 75th percentile shows that there is indeed a higher end. So we can see that instead of with our forecast and 50th percentile of around, something around an inch or less, our 75th percentile is showing something greater than an inch, maybe even pushing 2 inches towards the Illinois state line. And then our 90th percentile, even a little higher still. So if you're looking at where you're at with your storm total snow, you can see graphically where we're at. And then where we're at here with the Find Percentile output, you can see that we're closer to the 40th percentile here near Madison, points to the northeast. And our forecast is closer to the 60th or 70th percentile as we move into southeastern Wisconsin. And in fact, we do cut off. Again, we have quite a bit of warm air with the lake still this time of year, so it does tend to affect our output as it is likely to be lower with amounts in this area. But you can see, by and large, outside of southeastern Wisconsin, where we are right close to the middle, and that's where the output, it shows it us again. There's not much difference between the 50th percentile with our storm total snow and the 50th percentile. Not too much difference, although we do lean a little higher in our south with the snow forecast percentile. But not too much. So we're not too far off the rails. So we know we're in the 25th to 75th range. So we're in the 50 percentile around the mean. So next up, let's take a look at snow confidence. So that's under the Populate Mendo PM underscore snow confidence. And again, we're going to choose our storm total snow. And we have just one period. You can have multiple periods of storm total snow that's in there. We're just going to do this first period, and we're going to go ahead and run to dismiss, and it will run. And this is going to give us an idea again. So we know we've got a forecast for snow, albeit light. But what's the confidence in this snow? And you can see that overall, it's on the lower side, almost the medium to lower confidence side of things. And again, we did see that with our percentile information. We do have a wide range. Our 10th and 25th percentile were largely 0 or very little. And then on our high end, we had perhaps 1.5 inches up to a little over 2 inches. So while it's a small amount, it's a small range. It's not leading to high confidence in our snow forecast. And this is what happens, again, when you're around that freezing mark. And in this particular case, we are looking at warming even into the low 30s tomorrow afternoon. So there are reasons for us to have some doubts that we could reach those higher amounts. So again, this is great forecaster situational awareness to say that while it's just low amounts, we're still not so confident on whether or not those amounts are going to be attainable. Okay, finally, we'll run through one of my favorite programs. I do like running this, especially as we get deeper into events and running it, forecast after forecast to see how the forecast is changing from run to run from a probabilistic perspective. So under the populate menu, you've got PM, prob, deprog, DT. You run this, and we're going to run it over the PWPF information. And then we will show a trend graphic. Yes, for sure. And then let's show a CDF of our current forecast. And one thing we want to do, as I mentioned this before, obviously not all of our area was expecting a heck of a lot of snow, but we did have areas around southern Wisconsin where we had a little bit higher snow amount. So I'm going to go right in this area here and just pick our southern areas. You could do this by edit area. You may have some predefined edit areas. Usually I just try and get it so we get just looking at our southern counties here. And then we'll put this back to equals, and we're going to, again, show the trend and show the CDF of the current forecast. And again, you could use, there's this slider bar here, how many model cycles you want to go back. So is this the first couple of runs you want to look at? Or have you been looking at this for 2 or 3 days, and do you want to look at the past 6 runs? Well, we've been looking at it for the past couple of days. Let's see what it has for us. So we hit run and dismiss, and we're going to have 2 images pop up. The first one is going to be the run-to-run differences in the output. And you can see we've got all of our percentiles, the storm total snow. And for our little edit area here, you can see that our official storm total snow forecast for this area went from about 0 to 1/2 inch, and now is just hovering right about 1 inch. And you can see with our latest forecast, we're actually really within the bounds of the PWPF information. The red here is the 25th at the bottom to the 75th. So you can see we're well within that and close to what is considered the mean here, or the median with the dash line. And then we have in the blue, the 90th percentile down to the 10th percentile. So again, we're not dealing with a gangbusters type of event here, but it's good to see how we've really gone from not much of a signal to the past 2 runs, at least having some signal for some snowfall. And the thing that makes this a forecast challenge for us is it looks like it's going to be around the Friday morning rush hour. So something to keep in mind as far as when we're looking at confidence in our forecast. It has been trending up in the probabilistic information. So now let's just take a look at our most recent run. So this is the CDF of our most recent run. And the vertical black line is our storm total snow. And then each dot here, this blue dot, you've got the median. And then in the red, you've got the 25th to 75th, and the blue, the 10th to the 90th. So much like we talked about with that last graphic, this is just honing in on our latest forecast. You can see that we're well within the envelope of the PWPF information. And just as a reminder, why is that important? Well, your forecast is the mode or the most likely, or in the data set, the amount that comes off most often. So everything in the PWPF is kind of geared toward our forecast as the mode. So if you are finding yourself like you're towards the 90th percentile as you do your situational awareness, well, you're really dragging that forecast towards the high end. And vice versa. If you're down towards the 25th or the 75th, you're being more conservative. You're actually pulling the probabilistic data towards the lower end solutions. Now, you may have very good reason to do that. You may have, in our case, we have some marginal temperatures. It's going to warm into the mid 30s. We may have a difficulty accumulating snow really after 9, 10 a.m. when things warm up. You may have a situation where you may have a cloud ice situation where you lose cloud ice and you may be more of a freezing rain situation. So there may be physical, meteorological reasons for you to be somewhere then in the middle of the PWPF information, and we're, for all intents and purposes, pretty close to the mean or median here. But just remember, whatever you see in the output, you should be able to physically explain why it's that way. But if you're at the 90th percentile or the 10th percentile and you're not sure why, it's kind of time to go back to the drawing board and understand what's going on a little bit more. That's the tap on the shoulder that we need to do a deeper dive and find out why we would be so aggressive one way or the other. And that's why, again, this is all internal. This is to keep you in the know of where your forecast is among the envelope of solutions. And remember, the PWPF is a 60-member ensemble, so it's a robust ensemble. And in that way, you have opportunities with these three different programs to keep up your situational awareness and try to make sure that you understand why the output is the way it is and where you lie in the distribution. And again, it's a great way to give you a tap on the shoulder. Hey, maybe I need to go back to the drawing board. Do I have a good conceptual model of this event? Did I consider one aspect of this, or maybe there's another aspect I didn't consider, be it a thermal profile, a timing, surface temperatures, maybe they're colder. So there's meteorological reasons you want to go back and make sure to confirm what you have is exactly what you want. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to email myself or our ITO, Jerry Wiedenfeld.